Hi, friends. I just wanted to create a video for you to share the math strategies that we've been using in the classroom for both multiplication and division. This video is focusing on division, and I'm going to show you the three different strategies that we've been really focusing on. There has been more, but these are three main ones, and that keep getting repeated. I know that you've been practicing multiplication at home, and I hope that you continue to practice your multiplication facts because that's going to be really, really helpful as we move forward in math and also with division. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem and let's look at the three different strategies that we can use. Okay, and again, the reason we're using all these different strategies is so that you can see which ones you feel most confident in, which ones you like the best, and then when there is a time for you to use and choose, you know which one you're going to pick. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So the problem is 96 divided by 3 equals, and we're trying to find that unknown. What is the unknown? Okay, and that is called the quotient, if you remember. If we use number bonds, we've been using the word decomposing, and that is to break down. So we're going to decompose a number to make it easier. So let's see how we do this with 96 divided by 3. So we first write the problem out, 96 divided by 3. Okay. And then we look at the 96. Now you can decompose the 3, but we've been decomposing the bigger number. So we're going to look at this number and we're going to break it down. Now, here's the most important part. When you break down this number, we want to make sure the numbers that we break it down into are numbers that are part of the 3 times tables. Okay, that's really, really important. Okay, so if you decided to put 40 as an answer, not an answer, as a number that you break down, think about that. Is 40 part of the 3 times table? No. So we can break this into 2 or more numbers, right? So I'm going to use 2 numbers. I'm going to choose 90 and I'm going to choose 6. And I'm going to circle these. And I was really careful when I broke this number down into 90 and 6. Why did I use 90 and 6? Because I know that for the 3 times tables, 90 is going to show up somewhere on the 3 times tables. And this is where smaller facts are really helpful. So it's like saying 9 divided by 3. What's 9 divided by 3? It's 3. And then we just stick in that 0, right? So we say 90, we write it out, 90 divided by 3. Here's a smaller fact, 9 divided by 3, right? And we can say it's 3 and then the 0. This is 90 divided by 3 is 30. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We do the same thing, 6 divided by 3. Again, why are we dividing by 3? Because it's right over here. Okay, so don't forget to do that. 6 divided by 3. What is 6 divided by 3? That means 6 into 3 groups. How many do we have in each? 6 divided by 3 is 2. That's like saying 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, now we have one last step because we don't just end right there. And the last step is to take this 30 and this 2 and we add it. 30 plus 2 equals 32. And one of the things that we're learning in class is that we need to complete the problem by writing the equation at the bottom, right? So here I would write 96 divided by 3 equals 32. So that is number bonds. That's how you decompose a number, right? And that's how we end up with this equation right over here. Again, we did so many things here. We divided, we added, we were thinking about multiplication. So that's why all those operations are really important. Let's go ahead and move into long division. Now, this is something that I know that many of us are still working on. I know that many of us feel good about this, and this is something that we kind of have halfway. Okay, let's take a look how we do this. So setting up the problem is really important. We draw that house, and we put 96 in the middle, and we put the 3 out here. Okay, the answer, the quotient is going to be up top here. One of the things that I've asked you to do as a reminder is put that invisible multiplication sign right there. And the other thing is to draw the place value. This is really important because it tells us the value of the numbers that we're using. Okay, the other thing that I asked you to do on the side, especially today in your math journal, was to remember the different steps. Step 1 is to divide, step 2 is to multiply, and the last step that we use is subtraction. So let's go through these steps. Let's divide. What are we dividing? We're dividing 9 divided by 3, right? In other words, 90, because it's 9 tenths, divided by 3. What is 9 divided by 3? I need to know my 3 times tables to do this. I know it's 3. So I put the 3 here. Okay, so we divided. Now we need to multiply. What are we multiplying? We're multiplying the 3 times. This is not just a 3, it's a 30 because it's 3 tens. And so we say 3 times 30 is 90. And we write 90 over here. Now, sometimes some people like to just write a 9 and bring down the 6, but we're not going to do that in the classroom because I want you to understand the value of the numbers, okay? So that just to let you know. So here we go. Let's subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 9 minus 9 is 0. We don't need to put that 0 there. And then we start all over again, okay? So we divided, we multiplied, we subtracted, and now we go back to dividing. So 6 divided by 3. It's 2. We write the 2 up here, and then we multiply. This is a ones place, so it's just a 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and then we subtract. And we end up with 0. Now, some people might get confused and say 0 is the answer, but that is not the answer. That's not the quotient. Friends, don't forget, we've been talking about this in the classroom. That is the remainder. Okay, that's the remainder. So we want to make sure that we don't include this as the answer. So again, the answer is going to be up top over here. This is the quotient. And so down over here, I'm going to write the equation out again. 96 divided by 3 equals 32. Your answers should match. So we know that we're looking at 32 as the answer. Let's see how we use bar models. Now, this model is very much like the number bonds. It's very much like it. The only difference is a different shape. So for the bar models, we're going to use what we call a bar, and it looks like this. So the first bar looks like this, right? We think of that whole number that we need to break apart, that decompose, and in this case, it's going to be 96. So we're going to label this 96, okay? But we're not done yet. So this bar right here is equivalent to this number over here. The way we've kind of circled this is really just a bar. Now we're going to decompose this. And again, when we decompose it, we're thinking about that 3 to make sure that it's really part of that 3 times table. So let's take a look at this next bar, and it just goes right underneath it. And now we need to think about how we're going to show in a bar model. We're still showing how we break apart that number, right? So how do we break the 96 into numbers that are part of the 3 times tables? Well, I'm going to use 90 and 6. I'm just going to use these since we already have them. And I'm going to show it. Notice how I draw the bar. I make sure the space that I use for the bar represents the size of the number that I'm using. So in this case, this would be 90 and this would be 6 because we know that 90 is bigger than 6, right? And now we look at the 90 and 6 and we need to decompose it even more. Now, if you notice over here, we're dividing by 3. And so we need to do the same thing to this bar model to make sure that we can show the 3 different parts that we're breaking down each section. And the way we do that is we draw a bar. We draw the same broken down bars right here, 90 and 6. And then to show that we're dividing this space by 3, again, why are we doing that? It's 90 divided by 3. 90 divided by 3. So we're going to show that over here. I'm going to break it into 3 equal parts like this. Okay. Same thing with the 6. Look, 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3. Okay. And so in this case, I know that each one of these parts for 90, if I take 90 divided by 3, this is going to be what? 30. This is going to be 30. This is going to be 30. Okay, I'm not going to label all of them just yet. Just want to show you this. Now the 6 here is divided into 3. So we know this is 2, and so is this. So I'm going to go ahead and just label these now that I know the different parts. But then what do we do with that bar? How do we know what the answer is? Well, the question's really asking 96 divided by 3. What happens when we take 96 and we decompose it and divide it by 3? To do that, we would take 30 plus 2. So it'd be 30 plus 2, which would give us 32. Okay? Again, we're not done yet because we need to end with the equation. And the equation is 96 divided by 3 equals 32. So I hope that was helpful. These are 3 different ways. There's so many other ways. I know that we've also been using base 10 blocks to show that. And if you want to try that at home, you can do that too. I just wanted to share the 3 main ones that we're going to be looking at. We're really going to be working on number bonds, long division, and you'll see in future units that bar models will show up too. So if you have time at home, maybe over the weekend, maybe you can try a problem and use one of these strategies. Make sure you practice your multiplication facts. And friends, I hope this was helpful. Thank you. Bye.